Global obesity rates are on the rise, and despite popular opinion not just in the United States, as processed foods become more popular and technology makes our lives easier and more convenient, our population is becoming heavier. While there are plenty of exercise guides out there and warnings on how to avoid gaining weight, what are some of the underlooked factors that might be making you lose the battle of the bulge? Welcome to another episode of the Infographics Show. These are the reasons why you're getting fat. It can be easy to look down on these figures, but the modern high-stress lifestyle often leaves individuals with little time for personal home-cooked meals. So let's look at some other factors that can help you mitigate some of the pounds you're putting on. 11. Amnesiac eating. Everyone's done it before. You get home from work and veg out on the couch to catch up on your favorite show. In the mood for a snack, you grab yourself a bag of chips and munch away as you watch, mind enraptured by the fantastic adventures on your television screen or amazing episodes of the Infographics Show. Suddenly you look down and before you know it, you've finished off an entire bag of chips in one sitting. Known as amnesiac eating, this is one of the most underappreciated factors in weight gain today. And with Americans spending $7.5 billion on potato chips every year, it's a widespread phenomenon. A sister symptom can be bored eating, where you start eating something tasty out of sheer boredom. And food has long been a refuge for those suffering from severe depression. If you find yourself overindulging, an easy fix is to swap for something healthier like baby carrots, where the risk of overeating will only be too much starch and an uncomfortable bathroom trip a few hours later. 10. Not enough sleep. You might think that being awake would lead to burning more calories. After all, your body is fully switched on and consuming energy. Yet not getting enough sleep can lead to some seriously bad weight gain habits. If you're finding yourself sleepy at work, you're more likely to reach for a cup of coffee or soda, followed by a sugary snack. And if you're at home and unable to sleep, you're probably going to go for a comfort food of some sort. Not only are you picking up bad eating habits, but lack of sleep also increases your fatigue, meaning you're far more likely to skip a gym day and try to catch some Z's instead. 9. After dinner snacks. Everyone knows you can't have your dessert until after you eat your dinner, but maybe it's time to start skipping dessert altogether. Though there's nothing wrong with the occasional treat, too many people are overindulging after eating, and it can be a tough habit to break, given how trained our minds can be to continue bad habits. To make matters worse, American dinner plates have gotten bigger over the last few decades, which offers a poor perspective on one's dinner, as a large portion looks much smaller when the plate is oversized. 8. Shopping when hungry. It's an old adage, don't go grocery shopping when you're hungry, usually followed by another age-old adage, your eyes can be bigger than your stomach. The simple fact is that going shopping when hungry can make all the food you see at the grocery store appear delicious and can seriously influence your shopping experience. If you're feeling hungry en route to the grocery store, grab a quick bite first, and then compare the amount and type of groceries you bring home when hungry and when not. We're betting the results will surprise you. 7. Me hungry now. Modern society is full of convenience, and all too often that convenience comes in the form of cheap, delicious fast food. As animals, we are evolutionarily hardwired for instant gratification. In the wild, extra calories are rare, and given the opportunity, it's a better survival strategy to gorge now, as food may not be available later. But we're no longer bound by the rules of evolution, and your impatience is going to end up costing you serious inches in the waistline. Next time you're hungry, tough it out a bit and wait till you're home and can make something healthier to eat. 6. It's just a drink. When was the last time you counted calories in that delicious mojito you had to unwind after a tough week at work? Americans seem to have a major blind spot for alcoholic beverages and the staggering amount of calories each can contain. The average beer has 185 calories, and if you think you're safe by sticking to liquor, think again. 1.5 ounces of vodka can contain 121 calories. That's the equivalent of a bite-sized chocolate bar every time you down a drink. 5. Skipping breakfast. It might sound counterintuitive, but by skipping breakfast you are actually making yourself more prone to weight gain. That's because after sleeping for 8 hours or probably less, your body has fasted and not consumed any calories. When you skip breakfast, your stomach takes note and starts to rebel, demanding food. As lunchtime comes around, you may have planned on a salad and some fruit on the side, but your calorie-starved stomach is going to demand something a lot more substantial. Don't fight your stomach, get yourself a light breakfast to keep it happy until lunch. 4. Portion distortion. It's not just American dinner plates that have gotten physically bigger over the last few decades. It's the size of portions served at restaurants as well. With plummeting food prices, restaurants have heaped on the servings. And with a brain that's still trained by evolution to eat everything offered to it for fear of starvation, you're probably going to chomp down everything put in front of you without a second thought. Try and get some perspective on what proper portions look like next time you go out to eat or order in, and then limit your intake. If you manage to actually pull that off, please let us know how. 3. Fat-free is not calorie-free. Advertisers are clever, unfortunately more clever than the average consumer. Many products nowadays are advertised as fat-free, while completely ignoring how many calories the product actually contains. Consumers assume that the two are completely separate entities, when in fact they are closely related. High fat means high calories, but low-fat foods can still contain a lot of calories. If you don't burn those calories off, your body will simply convert them and store them as fat. Stick to low-fat and low-calorie foods, or simply moderate how much you consume of each. 2. Condiments. Nowadays, almost every single restaurant in the world offers heaps of condiments for free. Sauces and drizzles, packets of ketchup and mayo. Order takeout from your local restaurant and you're guaranteed to get a bag full of delicious to pile on top of your food. Yet, all these condiments can carry some serious calories. A single packet of ketchup is 20 calories, and a packet of yummy mayo is a whopping 90 calories. All that careful work you do in watching what you order can be of absolutely no avail if you're ruining it by pouring on the condiments. 1. And the number one habit making you gain weight is not exercising. Did you really expect any other answer? All of these bad habits can all be manageable if you maintain a good exercise routine, making a lack of exercise the number one bad habit for weight gain. So get out there, put some headphones on, throw on a few infographic show episodes to your iPhone, and hit the treadmill for a few minutes a day.
We hear about calories all the time. How many calories are in this cookie? How many are burned by 100 jumping jacks, or long-distance running, or fidgeting? But what is a calorie really? And how many of them do we actually need? Calories are a way of keeping track of the body's energy budget. A healthy balance occurs when we put in about as much energy as we lose. If we consistently put more energy into our bodies than we burn, the excess will gradually be stored as fat in our cells and will gain weight. If we burn off more energy than we replenish, we'll lose weight. So we have to be able to measure the energy we consume and use, and we do so with a unit called the calorie. 1 calorie, the kind we measure in food, also called a large calorie, is defined as the amount of energy it would take to raise the temperature of 1 kilogram of water by 1 degree Celsius. Everything we consume has a calorie count, a measure of how much energy the item stores in its chemical bonds. The average pizza slice has 272 calories. There are about 78 in a piece of bread, and an apple has about 52. That energy is released during digestion and stored in other molecules that can be broken down to provide energy when the body needs it. It's used in 3 ways. About 10% enables digestion, about 20% fuels physical activity, and the biggest chunk, around 70%, supports the basic functions of our organs and tissues. That third usage corresponds to your basal metabolic rate, a number of calories you would need to survive if you weren't eating or moving around. Add in some physical activity and digestion, and you arrive at the official guidelines for how many calories the average person requires each day, 2,000 for women and 2,500 for men. Those estimates are based on factors like average weight, physical activity, and muscle mass. So does that mean everyone should shoot for around 2,000 calories? Not necessarily. If you're doing an energy-guzzling activity, like cycling the Tour de France, your body could use up to 9,000 calories per day. Pregnancy requires slightly more calories than usual. and elderly people typically have a slower metabolic rate. Energy is burned more gradually, so less is needed. Here's something else you should know before you start counting calories. The calorie counts on nutrition labels measure how much energy the food contains, not how much energy you can actually get out of it. Fibrous foods like celery and whole wheat take more energy to digest, so you'd actually wind up with less energy from a 100-calorie serving of celery than a 100-calorie serving of potato chips. Not to mention the fact that some foods offer nutrients like protein and vitamins, while others provide far less nutritional value. Eating too many of those foods could leave you overweight and malnourished. And even with the exact same food, different people might not get the same number of calories. Variations in things like enzyme levels, gut bacteria, and even intestine length means that every individual's ability to extract energy from food is a little different. So a calorie is a useful energy measure, but to work out exactly how many of them each of us requires, we need to factor in things like exercise, food type, and our body's ability to process energy. Good luck finding all of that on a nutrition label.